Good morning, Oklahoma. Welcome to Cow-Calf Corner. This week we follow up on the topic of what we discussed last week when we covered some basic information we could collect on our cows at the time we're weaning off calves. We can look at some of these things that indicate to us what's going on in our cow herd in terms of reproductive performance, genetics, what aspects of our management look like they're really good at this part of production or maybe lacking at another part. And these equations that we're going to talk about in some of these calculations come out of Chapter 4 of our 8th edition of the Beef Cattle Manual. And we always say they're beneficial because if we can take a look at certain barometers of performance year after year, knowing that in certain years there's going to be more environmental stress, different kinds of weather, but in the same cow herd, managed pretty much the same way year after year, some of these things are telltale signs of what we're doing really well and maybe leading to additional profit potential, and also telltale signs of some areas where we may need to do a little better. First, when we discuss just the percentage of our exposed females that are getting bred. If we want to look at this number, right now as we diagnose pregnancy status in cows this time of year, we take the number that are pregnant, divide that by the number of females that we started the breeding season with back in the spring, take that, multiply it by 100, we get a percentage. Obviously that's the percentage we want to see as high as possible. It means that fertility has taken place, we had ample bull power, our cows are getting bred. That's one guideline we can take a look at. A second thing we can take a look at over the course of production is the percentage of calves that we are losing. We can look at this in a couple ways. We can look at the amount of death loss in calves per exposed female. We can take a look at the amount of death loss in calves relative to how many were actually born at the beginning of breeding season. Either way you look at that, again, it's informative. It helps us to make better decisions and potentially identify some areas we can do a better job of managing in. Another number to take a look at is our percent calf crop weaned. It is a good index of overall herd productivity. It is actually taking into account those first couple of calculations that I addressed, because not only is fertility and how many cows got pregnant, as well as how many calves were born and how many of those actually survived to weaning, all that is fitting into this percent calf crop wean. Typically, percent calf crop weans are indicative that we're doing a lot of things right in terms of cow herd management, genetics, nutrition is going to lead into weaning off healthy calves and getting cows to do that within a 12-month period. In the end, it's everything looked at together that can be informative and help us make decisions on management, marketing, and increase cow herd profit potential in commercial cow-calf operations. More details on these calculations and what they're telling us can be found in Chapter 4 of our newest edition of the Beef Cattle Manual. I encourage producers to take a look at that if they're curious. And that's all for this week. We'll continue on this topic again next week. Thanks for joining us on Cow-Calf Corner.